AIDS, multiple sclerosis, anorexia, childhood epilepsy, all of these are killers that the American people are no stranger to, but they are killers that we are on the dawn of a new beginning for. In 1979, in our own state of Washington, right across the mountains in Spokane, State versus Diana took place, in which the defendant was being charged with marijuana possession, but he claimed that he was using it to treat his MS, and so the courts ruled that it was, in fact, allowed to happen because doctors had told them that, yeah, normal medicine isn't working, but cannabis is. This is just one of the first examples of cannabis being used medically and being proven in a court of law, especially in the state of Washington. And today I'm going to be telling you guys why you should want to legalize cannabis medically, recreationally, and why the rest of the United States should as well. I'm going to tell you guys about the serious issues that we're facing today and how cannabis can help. I'll also show examples on how other countries and states have already implemented these measures and how you can get involved as a Western student. Maybe one of you guys has been affected by one of the diseases that I mentioned earlier today. And if you have, you would probably know that a lot of them are being treated with opioids right now. According to the World Health Organization, in a comprehensive appraisal of the health and psychological consequences of alcohol, cannabis, nicotine, and opiates in 1995, in their section of Opiates versus Cannabis, it stated there is no risk of overdose associated with cannabis, but use of illicit opiates carries a real risk of overdose. All of these illnesses are being treated with opiates at the time being. In fact, there are 60 million people in the United States currently addicted to illicit opiates. That's 30% of the people who are being prescribed by them, so they're not illegal drugs that they're getting off the street. These are ones that are being prescribed by medical professionals. 30% of Americans are misusing them, i.e., 60 million people, or for reference, the entire population of Washington, Oregon, California, Montana, Idaho, and Nevada. The entire West Coast is misusing opiates in terms of how many people in the United States. That's crazy, and that's a problem considering there's so much evidence showing how dangerous they are. Cannabis, on the other hand, has been given a poor reputation in the past, to say the least. In 1936, Reefer Madness, Roots in Hell, used that term to make people think that cannabis was something evil and that if their children smoked it, that they would turn into the devil or something. But it shows that in the National Institute of Drug Abuse, on their website, that THC-based medications are actually being used right now, even though it's not federally legalized. They've still shown that things like Marinol and Cesnet are FDA approved for the treatment of chemo patients and also patients with wasting treatment due to AIDS. These are things that opiates have not been able to help yet. So the fact that cannabis is helping them is crazy. CBD also is in a drug called Epidiolex, which is used to treat childhood epilepsy, specifically Dravet syndrome, which is a very drug-resistant strain of epilepsy. So again, the fact that cannabis is showing marks for children's diseases where other drugs are not shows that this is something that's definitely worth looking into. Already, 36 states, starting with California, have legalized some sort of cannabis program, whether that be just like basic research all the way up to recreational. And if we take a look at Colorado, who's one of the first to legalize it, in 2019, an article entitled "Where Does Colorado Marijuana Tax Money Go?" by the Colorado Sun, Governor Jared Polis states that revenue is going towards preventing youth consumption, protecting public health and safety, and investing in public school construction. They get a total of 30% tax from all of the marijuana revenue made in their state, which since 2014 has been $2 billion. That has gone towards school construction, public health and safety, things that our government needs to put more money into. And we know that they need to put money into it, especially preventing youth consumption. If we look at Amsterdam, they treat soft drugs like alcohol and nicotine. And they've shown that that sort of treatment and the wide accessibility of drugs like marijuana has actually made it less appealing to a lot of the younger crowd. In a 2019 Marist poll, 16% of adults in the Netherlands have tried marijuana once in their life, opposed to the over half of American adults that have tried it. That's just because it's more accessible. When you make something more accessible, people do it less, funny enough. In the European Medical Cannabis Network, in their 2020 study, they showed that the Netherlands are actually one of the leading researchers for medical marijuana because they realize how helpful it can be and that they can actually undercut coffee shops who sell non-medical marijuana and black market dealers by making it, like, growing it themselves and making it diverse enough that anyone who wants to use it for medicine can find a strain that works for them, and they'll go to a safe place to get it as opposed to black market. And it's cheaper to get it through, like, safe ways. It's incredible how much it has worked. Just even the 16% versus 50% shows it works. So now that I've shown that there's an issue about opiate use in America and it's killing Americans and not working for their health issues, and that other countries and states have already implemented this, I'm going to tell you how you, as a Western student, can make a difference. Here on campus, we've got the Psychedelic Club and Students for Sensible Drug Policy. Both of these clubs are still meeting during Zoom-esque meetings because of COVID, but they're to talk about education and open discussion about psychedelics, including cannabis, and about how they can be used for research and how we as young people can get involved with making a brighter future for Americans involving medical marijuana. There's also just voting in your state elections. Marijuana has already been legalized in the state of Washington, but there's still policies that can aid with drug reform and other topics surrounding medical marijuana that you can help with, as well as if you want to get involved now or more often, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, or MAPS, also has a great website where they can tell you all about their mission and how they are one of the forefronts for trying to get psychedelic research legalized and getting help that people need now that is long overdue. So I hope after listening to me you feel energized to go out and help the fight for legalizing medical cannabis in the United States. It is long overdue. Cannabis has been here longer than any of us, so the fact that it is racially discriminated against and used as a money plant by our government is disgusting, because this is something that can help us, and to overcome the bias surrounding medical cannabis is to create a new future for medical history. So, thank you.